All right, well, perfect. Let's go ahead and jump right into things. I want to say a quick thank you again for everyone joining today's webinar, Discover the Tesla Solar Roof, where elegance and performance meet. We do have a very special guest here in Sal Martinez from Tesla Energy, who I will pass the floor over to in a moment. But before we get too much further, I wanted to go ahead and introduce who we are here at Cape Fear Solar. For anyone who's not familiar with us, I know we've got, current customers, definitely industry partners, contractors here in the area that we've worked with that are joining this call, as well as folks that are maybe new to who we are here at Cape Fear Solar. We were founded in 2007. We've done over 4,500 installations in and throughout southeastern North Carolina into South Carolina along the coast as well. We have just around 70 employees now here in our warehouse, all right here out of Wilmington. And we're the #1 solar installer in southeastern North Carolina, and that's for solar, battery storage, and EV charging solutions. And of course, today we're here to talk about a new product, the Tesla Solar Roof. Now, jumping into just a little bit more about us, to add some additional color. Of course, we're licensed, insured, and certified. We hold both general and electrical contractor licenses. Of course, we're BBB accredited and have the most esteemed credentials in the solar industry. And that's oftentimes speaking to NABCEP, which is the North American Board of Certified Energy Practitioners. Just a little bit about who we are, the certifications we carry, and the level of expertise that we bring. And we bring that level of expertise into every aspect of the process. So when we're installing systems, it means using cutting edge drone-based and satellite technology just to equip us to make sure that when we're putting together estimates of how much a system is going to save, what the installation process looks like, that you can trust that that's going to be a smooth and seamless process, and you're going to get the results that we project from the first place. All right. Now, before going too much further, I do want to take a moment to introduce Peter Foley, and I'll let him speak to his role as he's joined us here at Cape Fear as part of the Tesla Solar Roof team.
Good afternoon. Thanks everybody for joining. Peter Foley, formerly of Flores and Foley, and I joined the Cape Fear Solar team about 2 months ago. It'll be a liaison from the roofing side and doing some consulting and so forth.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Peter. Yeah, we're super glad to have you as a part of our team. Really excited for obviously the expertise that you bring as we work to install these solar roof systems, making sure that we're collaborating with homeowners, builders, and really just taking into account all of the nuances that go into planning for one of these systems in the first place. So thanks again. And on
Thanks.
that note, we'll go ahead and we'll pass it over to Sal Martinez from Tesla Energy. Thanks again so much, Sal, for joining, and we're looking forward to learning more about the solar roof product.
Sounds good. And thank you very much again for having me, Gabe, Peter, the entire Cape Fear team. It's a complete pleasure on my end to be on this call with everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm Sal Martinez, the account manager for Solar Roof. I oversee relationships with our certified installers, such as Cape Fear, all along the East Coast. I've been with Tesla over 8 years now, a little bit over 8 years at this point, and specifically with our Solar Roof channel team for about 2.5 years. Completely love it, and very excited to sit here and talk about Solar Roof, which I feel is the most dynamic product basically in the roofing and solar industry. So to kick things off, want to just present a quick agenda here. As you see on the label of contents, what I'm going to do is give you an overview of what Solar Roof is, how it works, what it looks like, speak on the Tesla ecosystem, and then we'll go in a bit into next steps and how Cape Fear can step in and assist you with looking into a potential project for your home. All right, perfect. To start things off, what is Solar Roof? Whenever anyone asks me what Solar Roof is, when I tell them what I do, I tell them simply it's the best roof money can buy. Right. We feel really strongly that with Solar Roof, you are getting the best of both worlds in terms of a premium metal roof and all of the aesthetics and durability that come with that, along with all the benefits of solar energy, which hopefully a lot of you are familiar with. If not, then just know the integrated solar, within Solar Roof allows you to produce your own energy and be energy independent and basically have your own power plant up on your roof, as an alternative option to traditional solar. So The design of Solar Roof, it's modeled to look like slate, if you will. Think of a traditional standing seam metal roof as a metal roof. Solar Roof is very similar, but instead of the seams, it's got a black slate look to it. In terms of durability, aesthetics are very important with Tesla, just as durability and technical function. So in terms of durability, the roof itself is rated across the board in the highest way possible in terms of impact rating, which is a class 4, fire rating, which is class A, and class F in terms of wind. Uh, it's warranted at 143 miles an hour in terms of wind, but actually tested to withstand hurricanes of up to, or winds of up to 194 miles an hour, which I think falls in the category 4 hurricane range. So not only are you getting looks, durability, but then again, with the integrated solar and also being able to pair it with Powerwall, you get the independence that comes with being your own basically energy provider on your home. So nothing combines the entire energy ecosystem like Solar Roof. Next slide, please. Perfect. Again, we touched on aesthetics. Again, that's probably the biggest thing I can allude to is, what makes Solar Roof stand out more than any other product out in the industry. I don't know if any of you have been lucky enough to ever see a Solar Roof out in the wild. I live in Vegas personally, and there are a few around town. And even in my travels, every time I see one, I'm like a kid at Christmas. I light up every time I do see one. And I think Gabe and team shared some images of some installs that we have with you guys prior to the call. Hopefully, you guys agree that aesthetically speaking, there's nothing like it. It definitely is meant to give your home that wow factor. Okay. Now, in terms of what power outages mean and how you can help mitigate, think of Solar Roof as, a traditional solar roof system in a sense where when paired with a battery, in this case, our Tesla Powerwall 3, you basically get the best out of both products, right? Where traditionally, in case of an outage, if someone, say you have a neighbor who just has traditional solar and the grid goes down, well, without any sort of backup, their home won't continue to have any power. But if you've got a home with, say, Solar Roof and Powerwall, then in case of an outage, you are going to continue to have energy being fed into the home. Can't tell you how many times I've heard stories of Tesla customers who've got the full ecosystem who share, just stories of outages or storms or whatnot, in their area and how they don't even know that it's actually happening until they have neighbors, knocking at their doors saying, "Hey, how come your lights and, we see everything, your TV is still up and running." So that's really the benefit of integrating Tesla Powerwall 3 as part of a Tesla Solar Roof ecosystem is, power outages and their effects are basically, mitigated altogether. Okay. Piggybacking a bit more on just what an awesome product it is, Powerwall 3, think of outages. I know you guys in the Carolinas, go through storms and deal with the unfortunate scenario that comes with that. And, just the little things. I feel like it's, the little things that obviously matter most, right? The refrigerator, the food in your refrigerator, your alarm system. Think of your garage door opener, right? Or just your television or computer and all of those things that that can have power if you integrate Powerwall 3 as part of the solution with Solar Roof. Um, the way it works is pretty straightforward. Your battery's gonna, power itself through your Solar Roof and power your home either during the day or at night as well. And then obviously it will do so during any outages. It even has over-the-air updates that it receives. It's got storm watch mode, which basically through communication with the National Weather System, it'll know if there's a pending storm coming your way, and it will automatically adjust the way it holds power to be able to provide the best experience for your home. So, all put together with the Tesla app, which I think we show on the next slide, if I'm not mistaken, it really helps tie everything together. Which brings us to the app and just rounding out the ecosystem. I don't know if any of you guys happen, who are on the call happen to be Tesla owners. I myself am lucky to be one, and I can tell you that the Tesla app for my vehicle is unlike anything. It's really dynamic. It's awesome. It's so customizable. I can adjust the AC. I can check the cameras. I can do all sorts of things. The point of that is that that same sort of visual and customization and control is available on the energy side of our Tesla app as well, right? So you simply pull up your Tesla app. If you're a vehicle owner, you pull up your vehicle, you swipe over, and you can see your entire solar roof system and Powerwall and how everything's integrated together. You can see how much energy your solar roof system is producing in real time, maybe how much you're sending to your battery if you're doing so, or maybe it's completely full. You can see how much you're consuming in the home, which is hugely important, especially during outages. As I said, most people don't even know that that's the case. Well, your app will notify you, not just that, but because you have that complete visualization and control, you can actually help mitigate the effects of an outage because you know exactly how much energy you're producing, how much you've got stored, and more importantly, how much you're using in the home so that you can help control and again nullify the effects, you know, as much as possible, if not altogether. So, you know, with everything being in house, it really blends to being just a proper solution, right? Just for any future troubleshooting or whatnot. It's a much more streamlined experience for homeowners to be able to go through, you know, one installer kit for your system and have everything in house through their Tesla app. Now, lastly, what I'd like to touch on, or second to to last point I'd like to make is just how much sense solar roof actually does make in terms of aesthetics, durability, energy savings, outage protection, and currently through the end of the year as things stand, full tax credit applying to the system. Nothing checks everything across the board the way Tesla Solar Roof does, right? That even a high-end roof, which looks amazing and gives you durability, but it doesn't provide the benefits of solar or even just a traditional solar panel system, right? Which will give you energy savings and some durability, but might not check off the outage protection or premium aesthetics you might be looking for, or even just looking at a standard roof, right? Which, you know, um, might not necessarily be the best option if the things you're looking for to get the best of the best. And so again, really just to round out that piece of the conversation, it's just to stress the point of how solar roof really does make the most sense. And even financially speaking, right? I think a big point to consider that I'd like to leave you guys with is, although solar roof is a premium product and it does come at a premium price, what you do have to consider is that, it basically is the only roof that'll pay for itself over time, right? And the reason it does that is because of the integrated solar. What you have is maybe a, initial cost that might be higher than something you're looking at now. But again, currently because of the ITC, you have 30% that'll come off there. And because it's the only roof that produces solar as well, those energy savings add up quite a bit over time. Even a $300 a month electric bill at say 4 to 5% annual increase, is still going to be around $200,000 over 25 years. So think of that, right? The pain of doing nothing and what that utility bill actually does to your, turn your finances year after year after year. That's actually money that's helped save through Solar Roof, and like I said, will actually help pay for itself over time. And then the last point that I would like to make is, touching on how financially feasible it actually is to step into a solar roof, installation through Cape Fear. We've recently, and I'll say this for context, in the 2.5 years that I've been with the team, for the longest time, the biggest piece of feedback that I always received from partners was, Sal, we need a finance option. Sal, we need a finance option, because for the longest time it was a cash-only product. Well, our team has obviously, been listening and have been really working hard these last few months. And in fact, we were able to land an exclusive uh, loan option through One Ethos, First Climate Bank, for a solar roof specific loan, which is really great. I'm not going to go into too much of the details on it, but just know that it's super favorable in terms of length, 30 years. So it gives you the flexibility of, low monthly payments, allows you to pay down the loan at any time without penalty. and more importantly, does not include any dealer fees, which is huge, and it comes with a very competitive APR. And as I don't know if a lot of you know, but in the world of solar and loans, zero dealer fee is almost unheard of. So that's the great benefit that we bring to the table, and one that Cape Fear can help present to you in a very seamless way, to be able to potentially quote a project over to you guys.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Sal. Yeah, I think that was a huge introduction to the product, definitely to the value in exploring solar roof and if it's a good fit for someone. I think there's a lot of color we can add, and I'm curious to see what questions we get here in a moment. But before going any further, I did just want to sort of tie things together by saying that if anyone is curious to evaluate whether it be for your own home, a project that you have in mind, you're in need of a new roof, or you're building a home, or you're a builder and architect and you're curious about what this could look like for a project that you're designing for a client, what we'd encourage you to do is reach out to Peter here, and Peter's going to be best suited to help explore the goals of that project, certainly the design of the roof, to understand a little bit more about what that project looks like, and of course the timeline, so that we can make sure we're really walking alongside you as best possible. And ultimately, our goal would be to make this as easy as possible, right? And so to provide a no obligation preliminary estimate for that project, just to see if it's something that could be a good fit, right? We can get as precise as someone needs to. We can dive into the weeds of looking at satellite imagery or using roof plans to actually create a custom quote. But ultimately, we want to help explore how this could be a good fit, and using some of the tools that Sal mentioned, such as the financing option through One Ethos, just seeing if that could be something that could be a good fit for you or your client. So awesome. Now moving ahead to the Q&A here, looks like we might have a couple questions coming in. So appreciate people submitting that. So maybe some of the first questions here regarding the specs of the roof tiles. Sal, would you mind answering the question here regarding the watts per square foot, or maybe just speaking to the specific tile dimensions themselves, and the wattage output of that tile?
Yeah, I think it's easier just to give an idea of the dimensions of the tiles, 15 by 45 inches, and each PV tile, which is the tile that's going to produce solar energy, is 72 watts.
Awesome. Thank you. And then an additional question here. And maybe I can kind of speak to this briefly. So question being, how can this merge with a current Powerwall 3 and solar panels? Obviously, if you were going to get your roof redone, and put a solar roof system on, we wouldn't be able to mount a solar system to a solar roof product roof. However, if you had one of the things that I think is really interesting about the solar roof product, especially as we've evaluated some projects here with different clients over the last several weeks, Peter and I, is the product's extremely versatile, right? And each home is unique. Each situation is unique, and you have different elevations and roof surfaces. And so there can be a number of situations where you might see that certain roof planes on your home make more sense to utilize the solar roof product, whereas you might be able to utilize, other portions of the roof, whether it be smaller dormers that could be accent roofs, whether it be standing seam or otherwise. That's just to say that each project is unique. If you had an instance where maybe you might need a portion of your roof redone and you have existing solar and you just don't want to get rid of that solar and keep that roof the same, I would imagine, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sal, but like electrically speaking, there's no reason that we couldn't have that solar come together into the inverter and battery system.
Correct.
So yeah, that would be a unique application, but that's to say that I think there would be a potential for that to be done. So thanks for the question. Next question here is Tesla working on other shape tiles? Some HOAs don't allow the black tile, so that's a good question.
Great question, Andrew. Your name sounds super familiar, by the way. I think I've maybe exchanged an email or two in the past with you. Good to speak with you again. Unfortunately, no. So we don't have any other offerings aside from this. And I know that, when Elon first rolled this out some years ago, we had a lot of cool looking options, but through a lot of trial and error, we've just found it best for everybody to focus on the current offering to be able to upgrade versions into like the one we have now, which saw a drastic reduction in SKU count, which has made things a lot easier for our installers, to be able to put this up on the roof. So unfortunately, no, nothing else aside from the black slate look.
If I could piggyback off of that a little bit, Sal, obviously this is a product that, has been out for some years now. Obviously, there's been iterations of it. I think it's been clear from our perspective that Tesla in many ways has sort of doubled down on the product. What are some of the ways that you've seen Tesla really commit to its continued development? And now, being where it is now, what do you think confidence-wise that speaks into the product in the terms of how long they've been working on it?
Great question. So I'll speak to personal experience, right? In the 2.5 years that I've been with the team, I have seen a complete shift in resources and support to our team. And I think the biggest attribute to that I can share with you guys is the fact that if you want solar roof today, anyone who goes to Tesla's website, you have to, not you have to, but the process is going to be handled by one of our certified installers, such as Cape Fear. In the not so distant past, it was the case where, depending on what part of the country you were, you might still be able to have worked with Tesla Direct Team. Well, to be super blunt and transparent, Tesla's a top-notch engineering company, but we're not, necessarily roofers at heart. And, because this is a roofing product, we have folks and experts such as Cape Fear and, folks like Peter with his background, who are the people best served to offer this product. So I think the fact that we've thrown the kitchen sink basically at this through our relationships with our CIs, the fact that we now have financing, the fact that we attend events like the International Roofing Expo every year, just really show the commitments that Elon and Tesla have in terms of solar roof. Everything that we continue to speak on internally is all about moving forward and moving ahead with the product. So happy to see what lies ahead for everybody.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate that. And then a neat comment here from Andrew, who has I know a solar roof system on his home here on the Carolina coast. So saying he loves the one he does have. So awesome. Cool. On that note, I do have a quick question, Peter, for you. I know obviously joining the team recently, bringing a lot of expertise and your years of experience on the roofing side. You've spoken, we've got samples here in the office. Obviously, we invite anyone to come down and see those firsthand. But you've spoken as well on just how much you think the product from an aesthetic perspective really stands up to other luxury roofing products.
Yeah, in my 27 years, especially dealing with the high-end products, unequivocally, this is a good-looking product. And sometimes when you hold these products, the synthetic slates, even the standing seam panels at 12 inches from your face, you get a different look than 35 feet in the air. This Tesla product, without any reservation, is beautiful up front and close. And if it's 35 feet up in the air, you've got a great look about this product.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. It looks like we got another question in here. Thoughts on the Duke Energy Progress options for different system sizes. So I can speak to this briefly, Andrew. Or perhaps you're speaking to some utility limitations in terms of how much solar you're allowed to interconnect with that utility. Certainly that can be a potential limiting factor. I know Duke Energy, for example, has a limiting, they used to have a 20 kW limit, but now they actually limit based on recent usage history, which we found can sometimes be an obstacle. But that's something that really we're best suited to navigate on a case-by-case basis, depending on the utility. If you're asking a different question, feel free to elaborate. I'd be happy to get you a better answer there. And then a question from Harold here. So former customer, moved homes, and excited to have us offer this product. with Cape Fear Solar's awesome installation work. Definitely interested. Cool, Harold. Appreciate you being on the webinar today. We'll definitely be in touch, and just excited to hear from you. So glad you're doing well. All right. Well, if we don't have any other questions, I think that's all we've got for today. I'll just close things off here by again saying big thank you to Sal Martinez and the whole Tesla team for really being just wonderful support in us bringing this product to market here in the Coastal Carolinas. Really appreciate your time, Sal.
Likewise, thank you guys so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you everyone who took the time to join. I know it's a little bit late out east. It's dinner time, so thank you all.
Awesome. And for everyone else, thanks again for joining. If you missed any parts of this, we'll send out a recording here shortly. If you're interested in learning more about the Solar Roof product, stay tuned for an upcoming event that we'll be holding to take a closer look at the samples here in office, and also just get to learn a little bit more about our process for what it looks like to design these systems. Otherwise, reach out to Peter. You're welcome to reach out to myself also, and everyone have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
Yep.